That was actually a music video that we made to promote my books. Fortunately, this time we had a bit of budgets for it. There was this playwright many centuries ago called William Shakespeare. Apparently, he was quite good. So he said that, and to paraphrase him, we can say that there are a few people who are born with the passion which carries them into their career, like Gayatri. There are a few people who achieve their passion through hard work, like Gaurav. And there are a few like me who have their passion thrust upon them. My passion was thrust upon me. If there has to be a writer, trust me, there couldn't have been a worse person than me anywhere in the world, trust me. Okay? When I was young, I was a very academically oriented person. So like most academically oriented person, I drifted into the quantitative field. I graduated in mathematics, and I went to the most quantitative MBA, IIM Calcutta. And despite what the researchers say, IIM Calcutta is the best IIM.
We'll talk about this later. That's a separate panel.
We'll set up a committee on this.
We'll set up a committee that's a separate panel.
Yeah, so like I said, I was an academically oriented guy. I was a bit of a sports enthusiast as well. I did boxing, gymnastics, those kind of things. But I was never creative. Okay, the only kind of creative thing I did was I used to sing for our band at IIM Calcutta. But that was it. Nothing like you guys, of course. But I had never written anything my entire life. No fiction ever before my first novel, before The Immortals of Meluha. I had written some poetry. Gaurav, you'd written your poem for a girl who dumped you. I'd written my poem for a girl who'd stuck with me since when I was 17 years old. She's a brave girl, and she's now my wife. And my poems were terrible. Okay, nobody liked it except my girlfriend. That's one of the reasons I married her. Okay, so there couldn't have been a person worse than me. And I've written books on Lord Shiva. My books are a fictional retelling of Lord Shiva's tales. And I was an atheist, till I think around 10, 12 years ago. There couldn't have been a person worse than me. Okay? So when I decided to write a book, I had no idea how to write a book, right? Because I didn't know fiction. So you guys are all IIM guys. You know how we IIM guys are. When we have to do something which we have no idea how to do, what we do is we make a strategic plan. Okay? So that's what I did. I made a strategic plan in how to write a book. Okay? So there are self-help books. I kind of devoured them, which which suggest a standard algo in how to write a book. That you should write character sketches, of all your characters. I did that in Microsoft Word. Then you should write a short summary of the entire story, so you get the story flow clear in your mind. I did that as well. And that I should have a date flow so that my writing becomes disciplined. I did that in Microsoft Excel. God bless Bill Gates. And that's how I actually attempted to write the book. And it was an absolute flop. Okay? The book went nowhere. I'd actually got stuck. And I've spoken of this many times. It's my wife who actually helped me out, the smart girl. She's the one who helped me out because she said the standard approach on how to be a banker will probably not work in how to be a writer as well. Many times the standard approach to banking also doesn't work, but that's a different matter. She said that you have to give up trying to control the story. She said you have to surrender to the story. Okay? And that's something which I think you guys said beautifully. And I surrendered to the passion that was being thrust upon me. It was almost like I didn't choose to be a writer. Someone chose me to become a writer. Now, you might find this strange. I believe it's Lord Shiva's blessing. Okay? So God knows for what reason he picked me to write his story. And apparently he picks the worst of us first because he knows we need him. And I just surrendered to the story. And that's how I write. I just let it flow. I don't control the story at all. As my wife had told me beautifully, and I follow that line, I don't write the story with the arrogance of a creator. I write it with the humility of a witness. Okay, that I'm not creating the story, I'm just witnessing it. Okay? That's how I write. And my passion was thrust upon me, and it has changed my life completely. Okay? As a person, I'm far less aggressive than I used to be. I don't shout and scream as much as I used to. I'm far happier than I used to be, far calmer. I can't remember the last time I shouted. And I used to shout quite a lot, okay, when I was in banking. And the point is though, that did I surrender to the passion so completely that I started making all my life decisions on it? You know, because one thing which Venkatesh told me when he suggested I should speak of my writing career, he said that you should speak of writing because there are apparently a lot of writers out here, a lot of wannabe writers out here. I hope not, because writers are competition, readers are my market, so I hope most of you are readers. Okay? But he suggested that I should make some suggestions on how one can approach the field of writing. So my suggestion on writing itself, on the creation aspect, is that you have to surrender. Like Gaurav said so beautifully, you just have to surrender to the passion and just let it flow. Okay? But the actual hard-nosed decisions that you have to make in terms of your life, you know, I wish I could say that I had the guts that these two had to just follow their passion, care a damn about the world, and just follow the passion. But I'm a risk-averse banker, and especially in, you know, I've been trained in risk-averse banks like Standard Chartered Bank and IDBI Bank and DBS. DBS is from Singapore, right?
You didn't know that?
You can, now you know why banks go bankrupt. Bankers aren't focusing on the bank, they're focusing on our books. So how did I make my decision when it came to the career aspect of it? Did I have the guts to just chase my passion, just drop my job and just chase my passion? No, I didn't. I wish I could say that. I know it would be a really sexy answer. And when I was hearing these two, I said, shit, damn, I wish I could say that. But I didn't. I wrote my first two books along with my job. Most of the book was written actually on the backseat of my car in my commutes from home to office and back. Mumbai has wonderful traffic jams, so it takes a long time to reach office. So I wrote most of my books on the backseat of my car, and I resigned only when I realized that, okay, my royalty check is kind of more than my salary, so I can meet my responsibilities, and that's the time when I resigned. So maybe the sum and substance of the suggestion that I'd leave to you guys is that if any of you have passions, you want to give up your boring banking job or a boring IT job or whatever, follow your passion with the purity of your heart, okay, when you're creating it. But when you're actually making life decisions, unless you have a lot of daddy's money to fall back on, which I didn't have, okay, when you're actually making sensible career decisions, then my suggestion is be pragmatic, okay? You can try and do both things. I wrote my books along with my job. You just have to find the time for it. You drop every other time-wasting activity, you can find the time. So create with the purity of your passion, but make decisions with the sense of your mind. Then you'll lead a good life, and you'll be happy. That's all I'd like to say.